Welcome to Sports Corner with Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier. And now here's your host, Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier.
And good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the Sports Corner Show. My name is Ralph Williams along with Smokin' Jim Frazier, my co-host. And we are on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, X, and the Kick platform, and also on the Huddle Sports Network. All right. Today, we have a lot to talk about. Later on at 4:30, we have Ray FIDEPALDO coming on to join us. He's going to talk about the Steelers as they go into their bye week, injuries that have occurred. Jalen Ramsey's hurt, and a few others. And we'll find out what happens. Does this, bye week give the Steelers an opportunity to really, perform, and get the injuries up to speed and get some, some game plan together. I like what I saw in the game against Minnesota. They were blitzing a little bit more. They did some things differently. It was good to see that. I hope they continue to do that because the defense is too predictable, and I think that needs to happen. We'll talk about that later on. The end of the Pirates season. Where do you hear some of this stuff here? It's just ridiculous. We got that coming up later on. And then also the Penguins getting their season started. Marc-Andre Fleury this weekend was in goal. His last days with the Penguins. It's really sad. That was a sad situation that happened between him and the Pittsburgh Penguins and what had happened to them before we started the season, or earlier past time when the season really got bad. And so therefore and the seasons got bad, and Marc-Andre Fleury, the curse is on, as Smokin' Jim would say. Smokin' Jim, welcome to the program. How are you today?
Hey, thanks, Ralph. I'm ready for this one, buddy.
All right. Also, don't forget, we have we're sponsored by Mata, and I'm going to get that up here one second here. Seems like every Tuesday we have technical issues here, but we're getting them fixed. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning, 724-2010-500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. You ought to call Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. Also, don't forget about Mike Dotson Realty, Ocean City, Maryland, 410-596-1681. Yeah, Mike Dotson Realty. Okay, folks, I want to let everyone know why I'm wearing these sunglasses today. Those of you who don't know, I have something called Three's palsy, which is an eye kind of thing. I'm having issues with my right eye, and my doctor told me when there's bright light and sun, I have to wear these glasses. So that's why I'm wearing them. So those of you out there want to make ridiculous comments and say like, well, why am I wearing sunglasses inside of a building? Well, that's because that's what my doctor prescribed me to do. All right. I'm only following doctor's orders. Also, Mata Heating and Air Conditioning is our studio sponsor. We're here at Studio 10 in Berlin, Maryland. And I want to let everyone know Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. Get ready for the winter. Get your furnace looked at. Get UV lighting so you can see when you get out of your car and you don't slip and fall. Also, don't forget about snow melt they have also as well. All right. Smokin' Jim Frazier, our co-host, is brought to you today by Robin Campbell Insurance. Call Robin today, Western Pennsylvania's #1 insurance agent, 412-366-3399. Robin Campbell Insurance. Farmers in Bristol West. He also has renters insurance as well, homeowners, auto, any kind of insurance, bundle packages. Give him a call. Tell him Ralph Williams sent you as well. All right, let's go to the comments section real quick, and then we'll get started with our rants. All right, now forget about that. I know what that is. All right, let's go to our rants. My rant today is twofold. All right, I have a twofold rant today. Number one, I want to know what Bob Nutting is smoking. Bob Nutting, are you smoking something? Because obviously you don't seem to get it. oh, well, we have enough talent in 2026 to compete. Bob, you say that every time. You come to spring training, you say, we have the talent to go to the playoffs. We have the talent to go to the World Series. We have the talent to win a championship. Bob, stop lying to the public. Stop lying to the fans of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Stop lying to the city of Pittsburgh. Stop the lying. Bob Nutting. Okay? And why in the world would you bring back Ben Cherington? For what purposes, I don't know. Don Kelly, I understand. Don Kelly's a good young manager. I think he'll do well as the Pirates manager. But please, Bob Nutting, get rid of Ben Cherington. Give Don Kelly the tools and the players to play. If you don't have the horses, you can't compete in the race. All right? The Pittsburgh Pirates, shame on you, Bob Nutting, for lying again to the public who will pay to go to a Pirates game. All right? And that's my first rant. My second rant is the shameful Pitt game against Louisville. Look, let me tell you something. Pat Narduzzi's time with Pitt is over. It is ended. Whatever he's doing wrong is continually going to take this program down. Pitt needs to do something with Pat Narduzzi. I've told you many times that I've heard that the alum is putting together a fund to try to get to pay out his buyout, which is very high, thanks to Heather Lyke. When she signed him on a new contract, she gave him a heavy buyout, which I don't understand why that even happened. Okay? So Pat Narduzzi, the Pitt football program, is going to go down the toilet if you do not do something fast. All right? And I'm urging the chancellor, I'm urging the athletic director, Alan Green, I'm urging you to please step up and do something about this situation with Pat Narduzzi and with Jeff Capel. Both are on probation. And I hope one or both of them get fired if they don't do well this year or turn down another NIT bid. Smokin' Jim's wisdom. Go ahead, Smokin' Jim.
Hey, great job, bro.
Thank you.
You deserve credit. Got to go to Peyton Wilson. Peyton Wilson was, unfairly pointed to by the coaching staff, the fans, and the media. There's a talented young guy that can do it all. He played a heck of a game, 13 tackles, 2 tackles for losses. When he ran down Jordan Addison, they timed him at 22.5 miles per hour. You're talking about hustle. I don't know another football player in the NFL that would have been that far behind, but would hustle like that to make what turned out to be a game-saving tackle. Because
yes.
once he tackled him there, it took him 4 tries to get into the end zone, which took off another minute off the clock that they didn't have for their final drive later on. So you deserve credit goes to Peyton Wilson.
Absolutely. Great job at Smokin' Jim with that. And I thank you for the accolades as well. As you know, my ability to be right is about 90% compared to most people in this business.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Right. I'm usually pretty right. But I was wrong last night, and I will admit I was wrong. I took the Jets against Miami, and Miami ended up beating the Jets. But Miami did a Pittsburgh Steelers. They let the Jets come back. They were up 24-6 last night, Smokin' Jim, and they let the Jets come back, and the Jets almost beat them. But the biggest story right now is the big tirade and the big screaming thing that went on when Aaron Glenn really gave it to his players at halftime, Smokin' Jim. That was all over the place. What are your thoughts on this? He really went to town on him, I heard, at halftime.
Well, again, I think he's one and done. I think he was, again, 43% of all first-time black head coaches get fired after their first year. I think that he'll be a popular fire.
Except Mike Tomlin.
43%.
Yeah, except Mike Tomlin. He don't get fired after his first season. So there you go.
No, he's going to the Hall of Fame. But I think Aaron Glenn is a joke. I don't think he's qualified to be. I don't think he's qualified to be a head coach. I don't think he was a great coordinator. He was a great football player, great talent. He should be a defensive backfield coach. Listen, when you come to a team that is as bad for as many years as the Jets, and you have an offense with Aaron Rodgers that fits him perfectly, and you get rid of Aaron Rodgers, and the whole offense is built around Aaron Rodgers and what Aaron Rodgers could do, Aaron Glenn could have concentrated on defense only and could have let Aaron Rodgers for a year run that offense. They'd have been very successful with that formula. And as soon as he got rid of, as soon as he cut Aaron Rodgers, I said right then and there, I said, the Jets is going to be a disaster. They haven't won a game.
No, they
haven't. The people in New York's not going to be patient for that, and I don't blame them. They want a winner. And I think Aaron Glenn, I'd be shocked if Aaron Glenn's not fired by the end of the year. They may be 0-17.
Yeah, that could happen. Bad clock management I saw, and whatnot, penalties, beating themselves. Justin Fields didn't look all that great, but they did get lucky and try to come back. And like I said, Miami pulled the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, Smokin' Jim, let's talk about the Pirates here real quick. Ray FIDEPALDO is going to join us at 4:30 from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. I tried to get Noah Howes on, but Noah is on one of our competing radio stations today. That is why he is not here to be on the show today. All right, I just want to let everyone know that. All right, so anyway, I wanted to bring Noah on here to find out what Bob Nutting is smoking. Smokin' Jim, your thoughts? They kept Ben Cherington, and they also have kept Don Kelly. It's the same old, same old. What do you? Next year's not going to be a great year for the Pirates. Go ahead.
Well, some things I agree with. I was surprised that they kept Kelly and Sheridan, of course, but I do think that they have enough talent to go to the playoffs. They got the best pitching staff in all of baseball, I believe, and it's only getting better and better. If you can get a few hitters and fill in a few different spots, I mean, I think if they would have won 81 games or 82 games this year, they would have probably been a wild card team. I believe that's what I heard.
Yeah, 500.
I like a manager to have a little gray hair, man. I like somebody with some experience.
Yeah, I agree with you. Joe Madden, somebody like that.
Yeah. When you got a top team and a top program, you can go young. But when you got a team that hasn't basically won in 30 plus years, I think you need somebody with a pedigree. I would pay big money for a manager. I think the players would have more confidence if you had a manager with a lot of experience and success. But I do agree with the optimism that the Pirates have enough talent if they add a few more bats to be a playoff team next year.
Yeah, and quit overpaying for guys who don't perform well. I mean, they overpaid for Reynolds, and Reynolds strikes out when there's men on base. I mean, I've never seen Reynolds ever have his RBI percentage. I don't believe is that high. He always strikes out every time I've watched the game. He strikes out with bases loaded or guys on base or something. So, one of your guys that's getting paid a lot of money, they got rid of Key Brian Hayes. They traded him or got rid of him and, got rid of that salary, which I was happy about, So, but anyway, all right, we got Josh Dorr here. My monitor pensman's not here today, but that doesn't mean we're going to put up with this. But Josh, thank you for being part of the program. All right, there we are. All right, thank you, Josh. All right. What's the question now, Josh? Every week you got a question. What's this? Let's see here. No, Smokin' Jim does not. All right, Smokin' Jim is one of the most premier. He's one of the premier scouts. He's been scouting for 40 years. He knows what he's talking about, Josh. So don't you ever come on this program and tell me Smokin' Jim's smoking marijuana and doesn't know what he's talking about. Get out of here. Smokin' Jim's been my friend for a while. And you know what? Smokin' Jim knows more about sports than anybody on the air, even me. All right, so there. Okay. Wow. Don't make comments. Don't make comments about people we don't know about. So there you go. All right. It's typical Josh Dorr. So but anyway, so next, Smoking Jim. Let's talk about Marc-Andre Fleury. He had his, he played his game on Saturday. Now he's leaving. So your thoughts on this?
Well, I thought it was classy on both parties for Mark to come back and for the Penguins to invite him back. And I tell you what, man, he put on a heck of a show. And the fans just enjoyed it. I know they jacked up ticket prices. Hey, listen, no matter what they do, the curse is on. What they did to Marc-Andre Fleury will never be forgiven. The Penguins will never win another Stanley Cup. I predicted that when they were the best team in hockey coming off of a Stanley Cup victory. And when they backstabbed Marc-Andre Fleury, I said right then and there, they're cursed. They'll never win another Stanley Cup. Now they're the worst team. They're talking about trading Crosby and getting rid of Crosby and all this kind of stuff and hope to get a top 5 pick next year like they can like that's some guarantee that they're going to bring in somebody great to turn around the franchise like Mario Lemieux did. So, but it was a classy move at the end. I hope Marc-Andre Fleury enjoys his retirement. From what I've heard from everybody in the media that I know, he was always very good with the media. He was great with his teammates. Everybody loved him. And he will be missed. And touche, brother.
All right. Okay, JD says Marc-Andre Fleury to Florida, to the Florida Panthers, or Crosby to Florida. I'm sorry, because he's a big Florida Panthers fan. Josh Dorr here. I don't know. If it was me and I'm the general manager, and every year they have a lottery, do they not? And they draw the team who's going to pick first in the draft. If the Penguins was to get that pick, I would work on trading Crosby just to get more picks in the first round. That way we can get 1, maybe 2, maybe even 3. I would work on that. And then that way you can get some star players in there, take your money and move it to get a quality goalie, and you still have Malkin for 1 more season. And then also you still have Letang, and you still have that bum Carlson, okay, who's a bum. You're overpaid Rob Rust, okay. There's a lot of guys on that team that are overpaid, and some of them need to go. Crosby's done his time here, I think, but he's saying all the right words right now about how he wants to stay. His agent has come out and said he wants to be traded to a Canadian team. So, Josh, I don't think personally he'll be with the Florida Panthers unless the Florida Panthers are willing to offer up a first-round pick. And I think if the Penguins were to win the lottery, Smoking, just my prediction, if they win the lottery and get the very first pick in the draft, I think they're going to move Crosby. That's my opinion. That's only what I think. And that's the way I see it. No pun intended for anyone. And speaking of the way I see it, tomorrow, Ralph's opinion, the way I see it, will be on again on Thursday. It was on last week on Thursday because I had some prior obligations on Wednesday when I was up in Pittsburgh. But it'll be on Thursday again because tomorrow's my birthday. So I will not be on the air tomorrow at all on any show or doing anything media related tomorrow. So don't forget that the Ralph's Opinion Show will be on Thursday, 7:30. And the way I see it, we got a lot to talk about here on this program today. On Thursday, we got that.
Hey, Ralph, are you doing anything special for your birthday that you can share?
Yeah, I'm going to go to a restaurant in Ocean City. Those of you who are fans of my show in Ocean City, I will be at the Bonfire, which is a buffet restaurant. Very good food. I will say, and I was going to save this for the Ralph's Opinion Show, but I'm going to say today, Smoking Jim, when you come down here to Ocean City, they make some really good fried chicken down here. We tried chicken yesterday from Royal Farms, make very good fried chicken. We've tried fried chicken from the grocery store food line. Very good fried chicken. There's a barbecue place right up the road from where I live here. Excellent fried chicken. And then the Bonfire has some good fried chicken. So they know how to make chicken down here, Smoking Jim. That's one thing I will give them credit for here. So there you go.
I definitely got to come now.
You got to
brother.
come down, man. They make some really good chicken here, fried chicken. You don't have to go to KFC or Popeyes. Well, I mean, we have a KFC and a Popeyes here, but we don't have to go there. And, but anyway, we don't have to go. One of our colleagues got sick on KFC chicken not too long ago. He was telling me yesterday, Smoking Jim, Claudio, he got sick. He said on some KFC chicken. And, so he said the chicken in Pittsburgh's not as great as it once was. Well, he's probably right. I mean, I don't know. Have you ever tried that Hook, Smoking Jim in Pittsburgh, Hook fish and chips and chicken?
Yeah, that's good. I like it.
Yeah, their fish and chicken's good. I've
tried.
I
used to go to the one in Norfolk Sales, but they closed recently.
Yeah, they closed the one down on Frankstown Avenue too, at Frankstown and Fifth. I heard. Yeah, I heard they closed that one up too.
Well, I don't go down there for nothing. But
my friend Tony
Moreno.
Take
your word for it.
My friend Tony Moreno told me that. He said they closed it up, and then they opened up another location right in Homewood where the old KFC used to be, and that one's closed up too. So
wow,
they're closing them up. I don't know why, but maybe they're going out of business. Who knows? I don't know, but they make some good food. So I will say that. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, we got Cyberuski here. He had see what he has to say. No, Cyberuski. Just like I told Josh Dorr, he doesn't smoke anything. What I mean by smoking is what he says. It smokes. I mean, it's like smoke coming out everything Smoking Jim says. That's why he's called Smoking Jim Frazier, just like Smoking Joe Frazier. See, there you go. All right, Smoking Jim. Hang on a second here. We're going to be having. Let me see here. We got about 5 or 6 minutes here. The Pitt Louisville game. Your thoughts on this game? Pitt blew it again. It seems like Pat Narduzzi's stick is getting a little old. I think his defense is getting a little old as well. Your thoughts on this week's Pitt game? This past week's Pitt
game? They had it. Just like they had the West Virginia game, they couldn't hold it. And that has to be concerning. Every time you lose a game, you're losing a lot of money and bowl game opportunities. So instead of going to a bowl game that pays out a lot, now even if you make a bowl game, you're barely breaking even with your expenses. I thought that Pitt did a rotten job late in the game, and it was unfair to the backup quarterback Gonzalez to bring him in that late and hope he can work magic. I'd have continued to play my starting quarterback, and if you wanted to make a change for next week, it's hard to come in cold off the bench, and the team is playing 8 players in the secondary, and you want the Gonzalez to make a miracle play. That just wasn't going to happen. They should have stuck with the guy that they ran with all game long.
Right. Yeah, they should have stuck with Holstein. Let him play out the game, even though he was stinking up the joint. But, Reed hurt again. He gets hurt every game. I feel bad for him. The offensive line, penalties galore. It's one thing after another. This team is just discombobulated. And this team is unorganized. And Pat Narduzzi's stick is getting a little old. I don't know what he's saying to these players. I don't know what he's doing to these players. And I'm starting to wonder about Cade Bell. About his, I said this last year, Smoking Jimmy disagreed with me on it. I didn't think they had the talent to run his tight style of an offense, and I don't think they have it this year. They're too slow getting to the line of scrimmage. If you want to run a fast go offense like that, Smoking Jim, you got to get up to that line of scrimmage quick, get the ball in the hand, and get it moving. I continuously see.
Said it. You said it. You said it. You're right again. You said it.
And now this year again, it's the same old puppets in the same play. Okay. And what's happening now is they're not moving up to the line of scrimmage fast enough to run that kind of an offense. And Brendan Marin said this. He was the wide receivers coach there for a little while at Pitt, was promised the offensive coordinator's job after Mark Whipple left, and he never got it. or I'm sorry, after Matt Canada left, and Whipple, they hired Whipple, and Marion went to UNLV, and he's not there now. Dan Mullins took over down there, and a former Florida coach, and he even said it. I couldn't be offensive coordinator there. We don't have the talent. So I'm glad that I went to UNLV. At least I could. He runs the same thing as Cade Bell, and I think Cade Bell is trying to shove a square peg into a round hole, and he doesn't have the talent to run that offense. I don't see them moving fast enough to get to the line of scrimmage. And what's happening is now it's becoming predictable, and they're moving slower than they need to be moving. And I think they need Julian Duggar. As much as I know you criticized him, Smokin' Jim, because he went to Penn Hills, I thought he did a really good job in that bowl game. He ran the ball better. He got up to the line of scrimmage quick. The offense moved the football with him. He was built for that offense. That's why he was picked, or he was recruited or brought on as a walk-on, whatever it is they did with him. I watched him at Washington State for a little bit doing mop-up duty. They were down 48-0 or something to Washington. I still watched him do some mop-up duty. The announcer had mentioned about how Pitt screwed him over, and said something. He had some bad. It was bad at Pitt for him, and so on. So I mean, those things happen, and so we're gonna go from.
Well,
there.
let me ask you this, Ralph. Most guys from Penn Hills got a lot of quit in them.
Yeah, I know.
He's one of them.
Yeah.
But had he not quit, he would probably be in position right now to not only get some play time, but maybe get to win the starting job, because they're looking for,
right.
You know what I mean? Sometimes, listen, Joe Montana didn't start at Notre Dame till halfway through his junior year when the three guys ahead of him got hurt.
Right.
So sometimes you just got to work your way through it. You just can't quit. I don't think he's ever going to play for Washington State. I mean, is he fourth, fifth string down there, and everybody transfers to Washington State. Cam Ward came from Washington State. The quarterback, their quarterback last year is at Oklahoma now. Mateer is tearing it up for Oklahoma. So that's like a recruiting ground for quarterbacks. So some of the top quarterbacks are going to continue to go to Washington State and then jump into the transfer pool. So Duggar may never play.
All right, you got that right. I mean, you're right about the talent and everything. All right, I'm gonna Ray FIDEPALDO is going to be joining us here in a few moments by phone, and we'll get Ray on here. He's going to be talking with us. He's our Steeler guy. He's going to be talking with us about the Steelers and what's going on. They are on a bye week, which of course that can be good and that can be bad. I mean, bye week is a good thing, because what happens is with a bye week, you have a chance to get over some injuries. But the Steelers here have a bye week too early. I mean, well, actually, it's good because they can get some injuries out of the way. But they got some key players out. Ray's going to talk with us, and we're going to get him on here in a few moments here. Let's get him going. All right. Let's see if I can get him on here. You there, Ray? Hello, Ray. Ray. Yeah, hang on a minute. Okay, go ahead, Ray. Try it now. Hang on. I know what the problem is. Hang on, Ray. There we go. All right, I'm working on getting Ray on here. Here we go. All right. Okay, Ray FIDEPALDO. How are you, Ray? Hello, Ray. Wow. You there, Ray? All right. Ray, are you there? Yeah, I can hear you now. Sorry about that. We had a couple little technical issues here. Smokin' Jim, say hello to Ray.
What's up, my man Ray? What's going on, baby?
All right, Ray. Let me get into this real quick here. The Steelers have a bye week. They squeezed out the game against Minnesota. Didn't really cap it. What they did was they did the usual thing. It was a barn burner. Your thoughts on this game? And what do you think the Steelers can do better to improve with this off bye week?
Yeah, I mean, Ralph, I thought someone was their most complete game. The run defense was better. They continued to turn the ball over. They continued to pressure the quarterback, and then you flip it over on offense, and they finally got DK Metcalf involved, and the running game finally got over 100 yards. So there's a lot of positives there. It's unfortunate that everyone is talking about how they almost blew the game, but I don't think we can lose sight of the fact that they played well in a lot of other areas, and I think they can build off that going into the Browns game next weekend. So I'm actually a little bit encouraged by what I saw. Yeah, they still got to clean up some communication stuff. You can't give up that play to Addison like they did, but yeah, overall, I thought it was their best game of the season.
All right, Smokin' Jim, any questions for Ray?
Yeah, hey Ray. The Steelers at 3-1. Or is this 3-1 closer to the 2008 team, or is it closer to the team that was 11-0 that we knew wasn't 11-0?
Yeah, I mean that's a great question. Somebody had some research. They said the Steelers, since the Super Bowl era, they started 3-1 19 times, and they've made the playoffs in 17 of those 19 seasons. So that's pretty good odds. I mean, they're off to a good start, and they've put themselves in pretty good position. I understand your question, Jim. And I honestly think it's too early. I do like what I've seen from Aaron Rodgers, not turning the ball over. I think if this offense can get a little bit more consistency with the running game, that they'll have a chance to be okay. And like I said with the defense, they're starting to pressure the quarterback more. They're starting to turn the ball over more. And if they could play that way every week, they're going to be tough to beat. I'm sure you guys noticed they got Wentz on the ground 6 times, but even when they weren't sacking him, they were hitting him. He was hurting. He was holding his ribs a couple of times. I mean, he was really affected by that pass rush. So that was certainly good to see.
All right, Ray, let me ask you this question here. What's the injury status on Jalen Ramsey? And I know Warren is hurt and a few other guys. It's kind of looking like a little bit of a mash unit here. What's going on with these injuries?
Well, first, Calvin Austin. I talked to Ben Skoranek today in the locker room. Skoranek said it's not too serious. Now, I don't know if he's going to be able to play against Cleveland. That seems a little bit far-fetched, but at this point, Ralph, it doesn't sound like he's going to have to go on IR. So we'll see what that's all about. Unfortunately for Ramsey, he's got he's got a soft tissue injury with the hamstring, so he's probably going to miss a game or two. And who else? Oh, you mentioned Jalen Warren. Yeah, I think Jalen Warren's going to be okay. I think the bye week is exactly what he needs, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if he's back for the Browns game. And listen, it's great that they have the depth that they have at running back because Kenny Gainwell went in there, got 99 yards.
Yes.
I was really impressed with what he did. So that was good.
Any more questions for Ray there, Smokin' Jim?
Yeah, I just got one. Hey, Ray, with Joe Burrow out, Lamar Jackson out, and it looked like Flacco's going to get the hook pretty soon. Does the Steelers run away with the division?
Man, Jim, I don't know about running. We're going to be in it until December. You mentioned the Bengals. They're the closest competition right now, but I don't expect it to stay that way. I'm still thinking the Ravens are going to turn this around. I think once Jackson gets healthy, they might be able to outscore people. And honestly, it looks like they're going to have to because that defense is really bad, and they're really banged up on defense too. So this is a great opportunity for the Steelers. You get the Browns at home after the bye. You go on the road against a Cincinnati team that is banged up and looked really bad last night. So you got a real chance to be 5-1 in mid-October, and then you're really in good position. Now we're talking about them being in a good spot now. They'd be in a great spot if they were 5-1 on October 17th.
Yeah, that would be interesting there. I'm hoping that they can really, you know, turn it up against the Bengals. I mean, the Bengals got Browning at their as their quarterback, and you know, I don't even know who's beyond him. And then Cleveland, their quarterback situation. I think they're going to be rolling dice at the craps table to figure out who's going to be the quarterback there. You know what I mean? You know, so. And I'm hearing stories, and I gotta get my Cleveland expert on here next week. I'm hearing stories that Gabriel is ahead of Shador Sanders here in this pecking order, and that would be interesting to see that, because the rumor was that Shador Sanders was ahead of the game. So we'll find out what Cleveland's going to do. They're a big mess. They always have been, and I don't see too much, you know, with them. Steelers should be able to beat them. That's a home game, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, that'll be great. That's a home game and everything. How was your trip to Ireland, Ray? Did you go?
You know what, Ralph? I stayed back. It was my daughter's birthday yesterday, and I wanted to make sure I was home for that. So I watched it on television like everyone else.
Yeah. I thought you went to Ireland there and enjoyed some of that beer or whatever, that bratwurst. You know, or whatever they have there.
I'm sure the Steelers enjoyed a few Guinnesses for everyone in Pittsburgh. I'm sure they had a good time.
Yeah. Hey, what happened to Skylar Thompson? I heard a rumor he got mugged or something. What happened?
Yeah, Skylar was not in the locker room today, so I'm not sure about that. I just know what I read. I guess they're investigating it. You know, the NFLPA is looking into it. I did see that, according to an Irish newspaper, he was, you know, this supposedly happened at 2:30 in the morning. So, what did Joe Paterno always say? Nothing good happens after 2 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I guess Skylar Thompson found that out.
Yeah, exactly. Smoking Jim, you have any more questions for Ray before we let him go?
No, great job. Appreciate you, Ray.
All right. Okay, Smoking Jim, thank you. And Ray, real quick, are we going to see some more changes in the defensive scheme? I like what I saw against Minnesota. Or is there going to be any changes in the scheme as far as things go?
Well, I mean, right now, you know, with Jalen Ramsey likely being out, their injury situation, they're probably going to have to, I don't want to say be basic, but they're probably not going to be able to put in their full playbook until he gets back healthy. And that's just, they kind of been snake bitten in the secondary, all those injuries. They haven't been able to be the unit they want to be. So, you know, hopefully by, you know, mid-October, late October, they get all those guys healthy, and then I think we'll see the full range of what Mike Tomlin and Terrell Austin have to do. But I don't think we'll see that until Ramsey gets back.
All right, Ray, thank you for being part of the program as always. And Smoking Jim, you have any final thoughts or questions?
No, take care, Ray. Appreciate you, buddy.
All right. Ray FIDEPALDO from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Thank you, Ray, for being part of the show.
Thanks, guys. See you.
All right, have a great one. Ray FIDEPALDO by telephone, who it was just at Steeler headquarters. They were done having, I guess, a walkthrough practice or whatever, or waxing Mike Tomlin's car, whatever they do during the bye week here or whatever. I don't know, but but we'll see what happens here this week. Mike Tomlin, I just got word that Mike Tomlin treated everybody today to the Southside Burger King. So I just want to let everyone know that as well. So that's what happened today. All right. Smoking Jim, go ahead with your thoughts on what Ray had to say in the game against Minnesota, and we'll talk a little bit about the Cleveland game. Go ahead.
One thing, if Big Ray would have been in Ireland, Skylar Thompson wouldn't have got beat up. But,
yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
I just hope that it's a speedy recovery, because the last thing I want to see is that tight end just trying to play quarterback, Will Howard, getting any game.
Yeah, you keep calling him the acting quarterback. It's a tight end. Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, tight end is his future. But hey, Ray's on top of things as usual, man. things are falling into place for the Steelers, man. Look at the Irish.
Yeah.
They like you said, it's always better to be lucky than good. Now
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson's out, Joe Burrow's probably out for the year. Flacco
Yeah.
looking like he
And
aged
Cleveland, they can't
overnight
figure out their
in
quarterback. I
Cleveland.
heard they brought somebody
Yeah.
off the street that was bagging groceries. I heard that too. So,
Well, what I'm hearing, and I don't know how true it is,
right.
but I'm hearing they're trying to make a trade for Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I did hear that. I heard the
So
Bengals are
I
involved
don't
in that
know.
too. Yeah, so we'll see.
Maybe I don't know, but I definitely know Cleveland's interested. They're not interested in Kirk Cousins because they can't fit him under the salary cap with all that he's making. And but Russell Wilson's contract is doable. So I don't know if that'd be a good fit.
Yeah.
With Russell in Cleveland. Russell likes to throw the deep ball. I don't know if they got deep ball receivers in Cleveland, but hey, how about George Pickens for the Dallas Cowboys? Did he put on a show or what, Rob?
You know what? You were the one that called it. Yeah, and how many times have I said this, and I continue to say this? A change of atmosphere sometimes for a player works in their favor. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Let's take a look at Sam Darnold. How many times we beat up Sam Darnold when he played for the Jets? He went to Minnesota for one season, had to fill in and play because J.J. McCarthy was hurt, and McCarthy's hurt again. And now you got Carson Wentz with an opportunity. He has sort of he won one game. He lost against the Steelers, but Minnesota was still competitive. Carson Wentz may be able to resurrect his career. Okay, he kind of got lost in the shuffle, played a little bit for Mahomes in Kansas City, was with the Eagles. Okay, and let's see what he does, Carson Wentz and Sam Darnold. So George Pickens now has an opportunity to resurrect himself. Here he's known as a troublemaker, open his mouth, say this, say that, do this, do that. What are your thoughts on this, on George Pickens? Do you think that he did these antics just to get out of town? He wanted out of Pittsburgh, maybe? What's your thoughts on this?
Again, I'm more familiar with the situation. I don't believe nothing that the media says in this town. They're a bunch of liars or homers for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know George Pickens.
Right.
I went to Dallas, especially. They're watching practice the last 2 days of their mini camp. And ended on Thursday. You would be surprised at the Steelers who were there. Many of them who said the media said didn't like George Pickens was there to celebrate and spend time with him in Dallas and a party and enjoy the off season. Listen, there's two things that happen when if you are a troublemaker like George Pickens was supposedly being, then you would be suspended. He never was suspended. He had one bad game in 3 years. He put his second year, he put up over 1,000 yards receiving with no quarterback. They had Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky, no quarterbacks. And the guy's a freak of nature. Listen, if you keep drafting, you knew he had problems, and most receivers got problems. Great receivers. They got some problems. They're divas. He had a problem at Georgia. So if you're going to draft these high-risk, high-reward players, you better at least keep them 4 years. He was making no money. The Steelers, he was still on his rookie deal. The Steelers could have had him and DK Metcalf with Aaron Rodgers. And right now, it would look like a Super Bowl team right now. They passed on Scatterboo, who the fans would love here.
Oh, that's Scatterboo, man. You were right about him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they take a guy. They take a guy that's slow, can't run, built like Tarzan, plays like Jane. I mean,
I know.
He's hurting the team every week. They put him in the game for no reason. He drops an easy pass. So it's life is about the choices that you make. The decisions that you make, and the Pittsburgh Steelers been making some horrendous decisions.
Yes,
and now, now, who's surprised that Kelvin Austin's hurt?
Yeah, here we go. So, he's another MASH case, and I've said that many times about him. Small guy, can run when he's healthy, and you can't help the club if you're in the top.
You always say that. That's right.
Well,
That's right.
you know who said that to me once. I was down at Three River Stadium for a Bill Cowher press conference when I had my first sports show on PCTV, and I'm sitting down there, and I was on WEDO radio for a few months. I was down at the Bill Cowher press conference, and Guy Junker said to me, Ralph, he says, you can't help the club if you're in the tub. That's exactly how he put it to me. So, and I've heard him say it on his shows that I've listened to when he used to be on ESPN radio with Eddie Crow. He used to say that a lot. And I've worked with Eddie at another radio station.
Now? Where's he at now? Where's Guy Junker at now?
Well, he retired from broadcasting. He was on Channel 4. He was working on Channel 4 Action News.
He's not that old, is he?
He's in his 60s, I think.
Okay.
Now he's the PA announcer, and he works the scoreboard at PNC Park. Took over for that older guy who retired, the one that's been there. He was like 90 years old when he retired, that guy. So now he's
did they need your guy from KDKA to be the stadium announcer? Did they need to take him down and say
they took
third down?
Yeah. Well, they took Larry Richard went. Larry Richard. Yeah, he did go. He did go.
I was surprised.
In fact, the national announcers, when I watched the game on the NFL Network, the announcers actually said, "Oh, they brought their PA announcer, Larry Richard." Yeah, they actually said his name on there. I was like, they actually said his name. And, so he gets a round of applause. So there you go. But, yeah. Anyway, like I said, I was very, very, I was happy to hear that. I mean, Larry's a good guy. He does a lot in Pittsburgh and broadcasting. He's all over the place. I used to at one time call him 10 Job Larry. You know what I mean? Because he had 10 jobs and everything. Yeah. But you know what? He's all over the place. He's well known, and to be your name mentioned on national TV on the NFL Network is something to be proud of. I mean, I wish they'd announced my name on public address or whatever. So
And what's his relationship with Marino? He got somebody married.
He's married to Dan Marino's sister. And when Dan Marino's in Pittsburgh, when he comes to visit, Larry Richard drives him around town, cooks his food. I guess he stays at a hotel or stays at Larry's house when he's there. And so what happens is he just he goes ahead and he goes ahead and he helps Dan Marino out. I mean, he drives him around, he cooks for him, makes sure that he's, provides a little bit of security for him, goes to all the events with them. So that's what Larry does. And he pays Larry for that. Larry told me he didn't want to pay. He pays him. He pays him for that job.
Well, Larry don't turn down no money, do he?
No, hey, he's a hustler like everybody else. Yeah. You know what I mean?
With 10 Job Larry, right?
Yeah, 10 Job Larry. That's right. Well, he's not doing the pit field thing anymore. He was doing that for a little while. He was the field correspondent on the pit radio broadcast. He don't do that anymore. Doran Dickerson's doing it now.
Really?
Yeah, Doran Dickerson has no personality. He's doing it now. So that's fine. You know what? Doran teams
up. It's always different. It's always different when Adam Crowley's off, isn't it? You can tell the difference.
Yeah. Well, me and Adam Crowley have some history, but we've made up. We're friends now. I mean, we talk. He's a good guy. But Doran Dickerson, man, he has like zero personality. And they had two good personalities on that morning show. I mean, they had Cullen Dunlap and they had Chris Mack. But when that fight happened,
couldn't get along. Nope, they had it.
They had it. Now it's just Crowley and Dickerson.
I thought the morning guys were good when they had Paul Alexander on it.
Yeah, Paul was on with and this is what I know. Paul was on with that Greg Giannotti, who is with Boomer Assassin on CBS Radio. Greg Giannotti.
Oh, really?
Here. Yeah, Greg Giannotti.
Really?
Yeah, for Out Sour Cream and Dips. So Greg Giannotti. The story I got on this Smokin' Jim, and we're going to get going here real soon because we got to get ready for Wrestle Talk. He basically Paul Alexander at the time was in the process of some domestic issues. He ended up getting intoxicated, something like that. I don't know the full story on it. And supposedly, him and Greg Giannotti couldn't get along. Giannotti walked into the program director's office and said, "It's me or Paul Alexander." They chose him. So there you go.
Wow, these guys can't get along. That's crazy.
Yeah,
How you doing, sir?
Yeah, they couldn't get along. So that's the story that I know. All right. And Greg
thank you, sweetie. I appreciate that.
And Giannotti, he went into the program director's office and said, "It's me or Paul." So, and they chose him. So, but Paul's back. I mean, he's on both KDKA and he's on 93.7 The Fan. He does the Steeler postgame show. He does the Pirate.
He don't like Tomlin.
Yeah,
he don't like Tomlin.
I know. I know. I've been on the show with him. I've called in a few times. He keeps me on for about 15, 20 minutes because I know what I'm talking about.
A lot of people don't know he was a great high school basketball player, man.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, Paul was.
I heard. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Churchill. Everybody.
Yeah. Didn't he go? He went to Gateway too, didn't he, or something?
Huh?
Didn't he go to Gateway? Paul Alexander?
Oh no, no.
Where'd he go to? Plum
Churchill.
Or
Churchill.
Well, Churchill's not Woodland Hills.
Be a high school.
Yeah, Woodland Hills.
Well, it was Churchill when he was there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Then they merged a bunch of school districts together to make Woodland Hills, right? Yeah.
7 different schools just to try to beat Gateway.
Yeah, I know.
Which was unfair. 7 different high schools merged into one. Isn't that unfair?
Yeah, that is.
No wonder they got so many NFL players.
Yeah, that is unfair, but you know what? Sometimes you have to do it. Pittsburgh Public Schools is well known for closing schools down and merging schools and moving people around. And, there's a lot of school districts doing it now. Education funding is not there. You don't have a lot of continuity like you used to back in the day where the donors would come in and give money to the school. And now it's just not there anymore. So now you got to merge all these school districts together and make it into one. And it happens a lot. Look at what is it, Central Valley? That was a bunch of school. What was it, Midland and a bunch of school districts all merged in there, didn't they?
Yeah,
that one that made sense.
Center High School.
Yeah. So I mean, and some of these schools. Let's look at Shady Side Academy. Let's take a look at them real quick. They're having some issues with Fox Chapel now is having issues. All that over there. Yeah, they're having issues. Their coach apparently went to talk to LaDawn. He's the coach now at Pine Richland, the one that was coach at Penn Hills, John LaDawn. He used to coach Shaler as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, apparently their coach called up, or the school district called up and said, "Can you please take it easy on our kids?" They also wanted to. We had this discussion on the radio show. They went ahead and they called in or something and said, well, we had the discussion about Shayside Academy. We didn't have the discussion about Fox Chapel. That just happened over the weekend. So we'll be talking about that on the Sports Corner radio show every Saturday at 2 p.m. on 1250 AM The Answer, 92.5 on the FM dial. It's myself, Smokin' Jim Frazier, Claudia Rosano, and Luther Dupree. What a cast we have on this. And this week we're going to be talking about the Minnesota game, Pitt, the end Pirates ending season. A lot to talk about this Saturday, 2 p.m., 1250 AM The Answer, 92.5 on the FM dial, and 1250 The Answer, pgh.com. And also, please don't forget about the Ralph Williams, Tony Moreno show. Let me say this. I have a radio agent. He is working on getting me on this show, not only just on 1250, but also working on getting me on another station in town, this show. So we're going to be spreading our seed all over the Pittsburgh area. Myself and Tony Moreno. Join us every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. for that show as well. And also join us for our new show coming up this week. And it's and here's the schedule for all RW Media Production shows. And if you see there Saturday, 10 a.m., YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, X platforms, and also on the Kick Network and also on Huddle Sports Network as well. The new college football show with me, Ralph Williams, Pensman Sports, Brian Pettit, and Leo Haggerty. When Leo's available, he does a lot of work for Amped Up Sports and is usually covering South Florida football. who actually isn't doing too bad this year. They lost a couple games, and they gave a real quick Smokin' Jim. Your thoughts this week? I believe Miami is going to be in a. They're playing LSU, I think, or somebody this week. Well, your thoughts on this game, Miami Hurricane?
Well, let me just go back and say this. I predicted that Cam Ward would be a bust. He got shut out again this past weekend against a struggling Houston team. I said a flat-footed quarterback could never play in the National Football League. They picked him first overall. He won't last 3 years. I said Bryce Young, if it was 12 rounds, I wouldn't take him.
Yes,
I think Carolina got beat by 40 points.
Yeah, he stinks.
But Miami, I was surprised how fast they moved up in the rankings.
Yes.
They moved ahead of Penn State before the Oregon game.
Yes.
Ohio State was first, Miami was second, and Penn State was third. But Miami's going to have their hands full.
They got Florida State this week.
I thought you said they were playing LSU.
No, they're playing Florida State. Yeah, Florida State's
up
that
and coming. Be a good game.
That's going to be a
Florida State got upset. Did you see the fans of Virginia? They could have trampled those two players in the end zone when they took the field. Try to YouTube it, Ralph, if you didn't see it. Florida State and Virginia at Virginia went in overtime. On the last play of the game, Florida State's quarterback throws it into the end zone. It's intercepted, and the fans, thousands of them, come running onto the field, and the players were still laying on the ground.
Wow.
They could have got trampled to death. I'm surprised they're not trampled to death. So,
yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy there. I didn't hear about that because I was busy this weekend coming back from Pittsburgh and all that stuff, so I didn't really see much of that.
Yeah, try to watch the YouTube if you get a chance.
I will.
Yeah.
I'm always on
some
YouTube.
Comments. You'll have some comments about that on some of your shows. It was that bad. Right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. In fact, if I get the video, we'll play it next Tuesday. So I mean,
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah. I'll play the video. I'll get it. I'll download it and we'll watch it or look at it. But I will say this is the biggest win of the coaching of Tony Elliott. Tony Elliott is their head coach. He was the former offensive coordinator with the Clemson Tigers. Real quick, Smokin' Jim, the return of Bobby Petrino to Arkansas as their new head coach. What's your thoughts on that? Bobby Petrino back head coach.
Wow. When is he the coach now?
He's the head coach now. Yes, he was installed over the weekend. Their coach.
Okay, good, because they got smashed.
They got smashed. They had a bad game. He resigned.
Yeah.
The coach stepped down right after the game. He stepped away.
Wow.
Bobby Petrino's taken over. Apparently, he was there as defensive or offensive coordinator or a chief toilet scrubber. I don't know what he was doing there. But anyway, now he's the head coach. So.
Well, every former great
coach
remains a great coach.
Yes.
Except for Richie Rod.
Richie Rod. Yeah. He just after he left West Virginia, he wasn't good at Michigan. He did okay in Arizona. And then he brought back Jacksonville State. I think anybody could bring back Jacksonville State. So, I mean, but anyway, yeah, Richie Rod's career's been a little bit back and forth here and there, so, but, yeah, we'll see what happens there. But,
yeah. Bobby Petrino, he's a heck of a college coach. Man.
Yeah.
And like you always say, guys need to stay in their lane. If you're good in college, stay in college. If you're good in the NFL, stay in the NFL.
He was a coward in the NFL, man. He what was it, 8 games, and then he quit and put sticky notices on his players' lockers telling them he quit or whatever. Oh my gosh!
I forgot about that. Yeah. I forgot about that. You're right, bro.
Some of the worst college coaches in the NFL. And we'll talk about that next week as a topic. Some Matt Rule. Let me think. Steve Spurrier wasn't that great. Nick Saban wasn't good. Just a bunch of guys.
Who was the worst?
Yeah.
Guess who was the worst?
Yes. Who?
Maybe the greatest coach to ever coach college. He coached about 7 different teams, and they all were successful. But he coached
Lou
1
Holtz.
year in the NFL.
Lou
Holtz. There you go, Ralph.
Lou Holtz
was horrible.
He was a horrible head coach. He coached the Jets.
Joe Namath.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Joe Namath.
Yeah. You know who was a pretty good college coach? He didn't do that well in the pros. Herm Edwards. He was pretty good. Herm Edwards did okay down at Arizona State. Until he got caught up in that mess down there,
Yeah, he
I
was
s-
great with the kids. He
yeah,
cared about the kids.
yeah, he did.
Yeah,
He did.
he
Yeah.
developed boys into men,
Oh yeah, yeah. And
and
some coaches they can't
that's
make that
underrated.
transition. They try, but they
Yeah,
can't. You know, and sometimes,
yeah,
as I've always said too, some people can bake a cake and some people can't. Some people can be head coaches. Some people can be coordinators. You know, like I say, stay in your lane. Stay. Do I always say this if I go to like Arby's and they have an Italian sub, and my wife tried it. And you know what she said to me? She said Arby's needs to stick to what they know. They don't know. They're not good at Italian subs and hamburgers. They got hamburgers at Arby's now. Stick with what you know. Roast beef, summer sandwiches. The cheesesteak is
I can
very
hear
good.
your wife.
You
I
know,
can hear your wife saying that now,
yeah,
man.
yeah, exactly. And I always say that too. Stick with what you know. I mean, that's like KFC serving hamburgers. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Stick with what you know. And I say that all the time. That's like Pizza Hut serving hamburgers. So there you go.
Right, right.
So all right, we're through with this fun and games here, but we're gonna have some more fun and games because we got Wrestle Talk coming up. Lots to talk about. Some big time backstabbing going on as usual. The return of Roman Reigns, AEW, John Moxley on fire, Darby Allin, crazy stuff he's been doing. Getting to the Death Riders. And AEW is starting to pick it up a little bit here. They got some storylines going on. It's actually quite interesting. So, all right, until next Tuesday, I'm Ralph Williams for Smokin' Jim Frazier. Stay tuned. Coming up next, Wrestle Talk.